What is going on, everybody? AHS Rules back again with another video, and we are doing another ROH TV review, but this is a very super, pun intended, episode of the ROH TV review because this is the last show before Supercard of Honor, which takes place tonight, and I am very excited for this card, and I will be doing my predictions for this card at the end of this video. So like I said, we have a lot of matchups to go through tonight, and then we got even more to talk about and predict. I'm not doing a Supercard of Honor review, but I will be doing my third episode of Shooting the Breeze, and I'll be recapping the things that I watched during WrestleMania weekend, which to my knowledge will only be WrestleMania and Supercard of Honor. I know there's a lot of independent wrestling shows, but it's just I don't have the time to watch all of them. And Supercard of Honor, I watch it every year, so it's just like that's what I plan on watching. So, like I said, Shooting the Breeze episode 3, and in future TV reviews, I'll be like, if something noticeable happens at Supercard of Honor, I'll have to cover it then. But like I said, let's worry about the review tonight. We had a lot of matchups. This taping took place before and after this week's edition of Dynamite. Again, I was questioning it last week. I'm like, they haven't really teased or announced anything, but everything came unfold over the last 24 plus hours. And we got a lot of matchups, and we got some debuts in Ring of Honor, some big names. So we will get to that. Starting off with the opening contest of Tony Nese and Ari Daivari versus Aussie Open. And Ari Daivari continues his streak. He's been on every episode of the new era of Ring of Honor, so I had to point that out. And he starts the match off with Fletcher, and they start the match with a headlock exchange. Both eventually tag out with Davis and Nese trying to outpower one another, but Aussie Open hit a nice double-team uppercut once both of them are in the ring. But Nese and Daivari corner Fletcher once the tag is made. Daivari misses a splash, which leads to Fletcher tagging out. Davis quarters Nese with chops and clotheslines and a power slam, and they try to hit Coriolis early, but Smart Mark Sterling distracts them, leading to Daivari and Nese hitting a cutter frog splash combo for a 2 count. Aussie Open recover with several double-team combos inside and outside the ring, including the double splash where they hold both their opponents and run into each other. And they even hit a super kick onto Smart Mark Sterling and eventually win with Coriolis. And Aussie Open will be in the fatal, I don't know if I said fatal, the 5-way ladder match for the tag team titles at Supercard of Honor. Next, we have the debut of Maya Yameshita. I have been struggling, versus Shaza McKenzie. Now, last week, I botched a name, and so I am trying to be very careful with these names. So, I tried to record this, and I was like, I froze once I saw this name. I Googled, I looked up how you said it. So, again, I might mess it up. The first time I said it well, but I'm just going to refer to her as her first name for the rest of this matchup because I've been struggling with the last names of certain individuals. Several knees and kicks start the matchup from both the women, and Shaza tries to keep her grounded, but Maya gets up with forearms and kicks. Shaza hits a nice crossbody, but Maya wins with a roundhouse kick. Like I said, it was a very quick matchup, and I don't know why I was really struggling with the last name. But she also did compete on Impact tonight, and I will admit, I have no clue who it was against. I literally cut it on Impact. It went to commercial, and I never cut it back. But I remember seeing her, and then she was on Ring of Honor, so it's just a coincidence, as some would say. Next, we have the Embassy versus J.D. Griffey, Dax Draper, and Arjun Singh, who this was his first ever Ring of Honor appearance, and he did not perform well. Cage and Draper start the match. J.D. Griffey teamed with Shane Taylor at Final Battle, and Dax Draper, we've seen several times in Ring of Honor. This is the first time in this new era, and he starts the match off with Brian Cage. And Cage mainly just outpowers him during their time in the ring. Then eventually, Griffey and Toa tag in, with Toa outpowering Griffey, who is trying to attack him with punches. And then Khan and Singh tag in, and the Embassy take over from there and win the match with Khan hitting the power slam on the top rope, Toa hitting the splash on the apron, and Cage hitting the suplex for the win. And they have a matchup at Supercard of Honor, which again, anybody that has a matchup on Supercard of Honor, I'm like, they have a matchup. Stay tuned for my prediction of it. Next, 2 more people that have matchups at Supercard of Honor is Metalik and AR Fox, and they faced Sean Dean and Carly Bravo, the Infantry. Now, the Infantry, again, this is where I messed up names. And this one, I'm not putting the blame on me. The other ones, some of them I will. This one, I'm not putting the blame on me. But the Infantry had a match a couple weeks ago on ROH versus the Kingdom. I'm 99% sure they called him Charlie Bravo on that episode. And so I called him Charlie Bravo. His name's Carly Bravo. So, again, I apologize, but I'm not taking the blame on that one. The other ones I will. I'm not taking the blame on that one. Metalik and Dean start the match off with both sides tagging in and out constantly and no team getting a real advantage until the Infantry are able to corner Metalik for a good majority of the matchups and with several double team maneuvers. Metalik, however, is able to reverse a Bravo with a powerbomb, leading to him able to tag in AR Fox. AR Fox hits a cutter, but it is only a 2 count. And then AR Fox hits low main pain, and Metalik hits a top rope elbow drop for their win. And like I said, they will be in 6-man tag team action against the Embassy at Supercard of Honor. And I will also admit, I watched AR Fox for years, and I completely forgot that his finisher was named Low Main Pain. And the announcers didn't say it. And I was like, freak, what is his name? The finisher name. I Googled it. It didn't say. I YouTubed it. Nowhere did it say. I had to go. It was like Pro Wrestling Wiki. And I had to scroll far, far down to remember, yes, his finisher is named Low Main Pain. But Fox and Metalik win the matchup. Next, this was a very good matchup for the end. I'll admit, I will at least mess up one in this matchup because I ran out of room on my piece of paper and I was like, crap, I wanted to write tiny. But it was for the women's world title, Athena versus Emi Sakura. Now, a lot of people point out my mistakes, so I'm going to point out some mistakes. So, on Athena's record / nameplate, it says she was 2-2 in 2023. And in Ring of Honor, that is definitely not true. But if they're counting AEW, it's still not true, because I went to Pro Fight DB. She's only lost 1 match this year. They did have listed 2-2, and I'm only pointing that out because I, again, did my part in my research. And again, people want to point out where I mess up. I'm going to point out where other people mess up. Am I an a-hole for that? I'm just an a-hole in general. But like I said, I even said this is a very good matchup. Emi starts the match with a forearm, but Athena aggressively recovers on the outside. However, Emi does not let her throw her into the steps and splashes Athena into the steps, which we saw Athena over the past couple of her matches use the ring steps on the outside. Athena kicks Emi as she is stuck in the corner. Emi reverses Athena with Athena's cartwheel splash and hits a delayed brainbuster and moonsault for a 2 count. Both women exchange forearms and chops. Athena anticipates an Emi slam, and she gets up quickly from it. Emi reverses the O-face with a cutter for a 2 count. Emi's powerbomb leads to an Athena pin because it was a pin. She hit the powerbomb quickly, but Athena recovered with the pin, but it only led to a 2 count. But Athena eventually wins with a sleeper hold. Now, again, I'm not a wrestling expert. It looked more like a crossface. The announcers said sleeper hold. The only reason I'm denying it is because it looks like where Athena had it locked in, and I did the hand motions, it was more like over her face. Where if it was a sleeper hold, it would be over her throat. But you couldn't really see it that well because Emi's hair was covering it up. So, sleeper hold, crossface, you can call it which one you want. But Athena won the matchup, and then she tried to attack Emi on the outside. But Yuka Sakazaki, who will be Athena's opponent at Supercard of Honor, came out to save the day. And they've done this spot several times in wrestling history. I remember a lot in Ring of Honor history where they have the security come out and then the face dives off the top and then the heel moves out of the way. So they're able to stand up tall and victorious, they're able to face each other. But this time Athena did not move out of the way and Yuka stood alone holding the title, teasing their matchup for tomorrow night. But like I said, this women's title match was very good. Next, we had a loaded matchup, which all 8 men will be facing each other tomorrow night as they participate in the Reach for the Sky 5-way ladder match. But tonight, they're partners as the Kingdom team with LFI, which is Roosh and Dralistico, versus Top Flight, and in their Ring of Honor debut, the Lucha Bros. Dante and Taven start the match off, but Taven wants Penta in the ring because Penta is in his Joker attire, and Taven points out that purple is his color. So he's very triggered that Penta was wearing that, and then Penta takes the glove off, does that Cerro Viero. Yeah, I think that's right. And then Taven tries to do it, but smacks him with the glove, and all 8 men get in and start attacking each other at that point. And very little tags were made in this matchup, which with an 8-man tag is very hard to keep it sophisticated. Top Flight attempt to do a dive to the outside, but the Kingdom stopped that from happening. And then they corner Penta, who was the legal man. Then LFI do the same thing. They corner Dante once he's able to tag in. The Lucha Bros save the day with some super kicks onto the Kingdom. And Top Flight start putting their attention toward LFI. Jorostico hits a nice code breaker on Dante. But LFI and the Kingdom win the matchup with Bull's Horn on Darius. Like I said, it was an 8-man matchup. Very hard to keep up with everything. And it was a good matchup. It's just like, it's 8 men. It's very hard to keep it in order, like I said, for the referee and in general. But nothing crazy, balls to the wall happen. But I do expect crazy balls to the wall action in the ladder match, which again, I'm going to keep teasing. My prediction will come up later in the video. Next, we get a promo from Mark Briscoe, as sadly, this will be his last time as tag team champion because he will be vacating the title. But he does have his eyes, and his goal is on the television championship, and he wants to win it for his family. Joe interrupts the promo, and it feels disrespected, or this is also on the big screen. I got to point out that Joe was on the big screen. He feels disrespected because Mark Briscoe keeps talking about his destiny of winning the title, but not talking about surviving or even the reality that he's not going to win the championship. After it, we get to the back, and a man that I mentioned, I believe I mentioned him last week. I might not have. I was definitely thinking it. Jay Lethal, who we've not seen on the TV Honor Club era of Ring of Honor. And I was like, where has Jay Lethal been? He is here. He was here waiting for Mark Briscoe in the back by himself, and he wished him good luck in his journey for the television championship. We got another championship matchup for the pure title, Wheeler Yuta versus Leon Ruffin. And we got a new title design for the pure championship. Now, obviously, I'm not going to describe this to perfection, and if you want to know what it looks like, it's probably best you go out of your way to look at it. But in my opinion, it looks very similar to the old one. But to be fair, the current day logo, current day rings design look very reminiscent to the older school. So like changing the title way different doesn't really make the most sense. But just like, I understand why they changed the title just to refresh it. And they said that they're going to retire the tag, which we didn't see what the new tag team titles looked like. But they said they were going to retire the tag team titles out of respect to the Briscoe brothers. And so it made sense to, like I said, we saw a new title design for the pure title, and spoiler alert, for the world title. We will be getting new tag team championships. That leaves the 6-man, the women's, and the TV title. Will we get new title designs? Tune into Supercard of Honor and find out. But like I said, it didn't look that much different than the older one, but it's a little bit updated. Yuta dominates this matchup and is aggressive very early and targets the left arm of Ruffin. Ruffin's first rope break comes when he tries to get out of an octopus lock, which was teasing his matchup with Shibata at Supercard. Second rope break comes when he can't get out of a leg lock, which Wheeler Yuta was taunting and teasing him in the camera. Ruffin tries to fight back with a speed run around the ring, but Yuta does not have any of it and wins with a hammerlock crossface. And then he tries to cut a promo after the match, and surprisingly, Katsuyori Shibata actually shows up. And Wheeler Yuta's like, hey, let me talk. I'm surprised you showed up. And then Shibata like asked for the mic, and Wheeler didn't give it to him, so he just smacks it out of his hand. We have a face-to-face, and the matchup is scheduled to take place at Supercard of Honor. Who do I think is going to win? Stay tuned and find out. We have another matchup, and this one is a crazy one. Blake Christian versus El Hijo del Vikingo. Now, I mentioned earlier, I messed up a name last week. I'm not a call him Vikingo. I'm pretty sure there's a wrestler named that. It's definitely not him. Vikingo. I do not say names perfectly. I am a human. I make mistakes. But I made sure to say it correctly this time around. We get a dropkick exchange from both men to start the match off. Vikingo moves out of the way of a dropkick and then hits a moonsault. Soon, it is followed with a springboard Hurricane Rana and springboard flip Senton onto the outside. Christian hits a 619 on the bottom rope and a springboard backdrop and a Fosbury flop to the outside. Christian then tries to keep Vikingo grounded once they get back into the ring, but Vikingo eventually gets up to hit a twisted 450 splash. Vikingo hits a reverse Hurricane Rana on the apron. Christian hits a Spanish Fly on the outside and a 450 on the inside for a 2 count. Both men land on their feet after a top rope flip, which I couldn't tell you what move they were trying to hit because both of them landed on their feet. And then Vikingo is able to reverse a Blake Christian powerbomb attempt into a Frankensteiner and wins the matchup. So Vikingo, very popular. It's great to see him competing. Now, I will say, there's one small little note. And again, like I said, Caprice was like, I can't believe we're giving this match away for free. No, you're not giving the match away for free. You got to pay to watch this on Honor Club. Now, obviously, some people could go out of their way and watch it in other ways. I'm not suggesting it. I have Honor Club, and I've definitely complained about having to pay to watch it, but I understand it, and obviously, I'm paying to watch it. Someone had to enjoy it, but he's like, I had to point that out. He said, we're giving this match away for free. No, you're not. But Vikingo does have a match at Supercard of Honor, and Blake Christian does as well. But is he going to be able to compete? Because after the matchup, he was being interviewed, and Prince Nana interrupts saying, hey, you just had a tough matchup. You should take the night off. And Blake Christian said, nah. And you think I'm joking about? No, that's what he actually said. And then the embassy attack him after, and then Metalik and Fox come in to save the day. So that will be a very interesting matchup because I don't know who will win it. But I'll have to make a choice in my predictions, which are soon about to follow, because now we're here to talk about the main event matchup of Eddie Kingston versus Christopher Daniels. I'm very glad that they did this because Kingston, his only 2 matchups in this era of ROH, have been very quick against lesser-known opponents. Now he's going against an OG of Ring of Honor and Christopher Daniels, and they put on a stellar main event. Eddie dominates the early portion of the matchup, but CD is able to get the advantage once he moves out of the way of a spinning back fist. CD locks in a Koji clutch, but Kingston is able to get into the ropes. The 2 men take their straps down to have a chop exchange, which Daniels is never able to recover from, leading to Eddie winning with a T-bone suplex and spinning back fist. After the match, Claudio Castagnoli comes out. I believe it was definitely it's not his AEW theme song. I believe it was his older Ring of Honor theme song, which I like the touch, the nostalgia of bringing older Ring of Honor stuff back. But, again, he has the new world title design out there with him. And Kingston, Claudio never says anything to him. He comes in the ring, and they tease, facing off right then, right there. And Kingston's like, come on, let's do it. And then Claudio even takes his shirt off, but he eventually just leaves. And Kingston went on a very tirade. He did drop an F-bomb, which I found very funny. And like I said, looking forward to this matchup tomorrow night, or tonight, at Supercard of Honor. So like I said, very great episode. And I've teased it all review long. We're getting my predictions for Supercard of Honor. I gotta find where I wrote it down in my notebook. I have my pen. I can't once I mark it, I can't change it. So as of right now, there are 8 matches announced for this main card. 7 of them involve a championship of some sort. We have 1 match that came out of nowhere, no build, but it is a crazy matchup, so I am definitely not complaining. So if they add any more matches, I apologize. But if they add any more matches way before the card starts, I'm going to comment my predictions in the comment of this video. If not, it is what it is. But like I said, they always do matches on the 0 hour, so hopefully they do. I got the time to watch it, but we will see. So the first matchup, which is the only non-title bout and was announced yesterday, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Daniel Garcia. This is Garcia's return to Ring of Honor, in which we've seen him several times in this new era, but this is Tanahashi's first time in Ring of Honor in a long time. And you can't have that big of a name come to Ring of Honor and just, again, out of nowhere and lose. So I'm picking Tanahashi to win this matchup. Next, for the AAA Mega Championship, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Commander, which, again, I've said his name wrong last week. I'm pretty sure I called him Commander, which is somewhat understandable, but it is Commander. Like I said, Vikingo is on such a big role. He's definitely more known and been seen and showcased a lot more recently, so I think he is going to win this matchup. And I don't want to say, oh, this is going to be match of the night, but definitely has a good chance because Vikingo has that popularity, and I don't know what word I'm looking for, but he definitely has the ability to put on a match of the night on any show that he's on. Next, for the Pure Championship, Wheeler Yuta versus Katsuyori Shibata. This is definitely a 50-50 one, because like I said, you can't, my first matchup, you can't bring in a big name and have him lose. But, we saw in AEW, Shibata had a championship matchup and he lost. So, it's not really that much different from Ring of Honor. I think Wheeler Yuta is going to win, mainly because I don't see Shibata being pure champion for long and appearing in the Ring of Honor. If he did, I'm not complaining. I'd love to see it. It's just, I don't think that's the logical and reasonable thing that's going to happen. Also, I think with Yuta's recent performances in his title matchups, he would cheat or stretch the rules to win a bit. But again, looking forward to this matchup. Next, for the six-man tag team title, I almost said six-man tag team title match, the Embassy versus AR Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian. Since we've seen the Embassy, this new version of the Embassy in Ring of Honor, they have dominated. And Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian, while they are very similar, I'm not going to say they're thrown together. Well, like I said, because they have similarities, it's just like, they're not a group. They don't have a group name like the Embassy. So, this is definitely very difficult to choose. I'm going to pick Fox, Metalik, and Blake Christian, mainly because, Brian Cage constantly tweets that, I want to go to WWE, and he's like, I would love to go to WWE. Like, obviously, those are like jokes, but like, we don't know his status in AEW / Ring of Honor. We hear the rumors of it. I think if you got one foot out the door, you are most likely going to take the step forward, not take the step back. And like I said, I think Fox, Metalik, and Christian as a trio's six-man group would put on better matchups than the Embassy does. And like I said, they're kind of a thrown-together group. And I know that a lot of the fan bases enjoy long-term storylines and just things that make sense. But in the trio's six-man division, if you just have six men go out there and put on stellar matchups, I would have no complaint. And like I said, this would be the perfect example of this because this trio is kind of thrown together, but they have a lot of similarities. So I like to see them win the titles. And I've probably spent way too much time on that, but it is what it is. Next, for the Women's World Championship, Athena versus Yuka Sakazaki. I am picking Athena because I've really enjoyed her reign. She's had great matchups like she did tonight, and I don't think it's going to end. And again, Yuka Sakazaki, while they have teased this matchup for several weeks, we just now first saw her on Ring of Honor, and I feel like it'd be a very big surprise for her to win. And like I said, Athena's had a dominant title reign so far. I don't see it ending, at least at Supercard. Next, probably the hardest matchup to predict because we are guaranteed to leave with a new champion, or champions I should say in this case, for the tag team titles in the Reach for the Sky ladder match. We have the Lucha Bros versus Top Flight versus the Kingdom versus Aussie Open versus La Facción Ingobernables, aka LFI. Now, I should probably rank them on likely to least likely. At 5, I have the Kingdom, because they have already held these tag team titles, and I feel that we are going to go in a direction of new champions. At 4, I'm going to put LFI, because Roosh is more of a singles competitor. He's just been in tag team action, but I don't see this group because both Jericho and Rush are more singles competitors, so I don't really see them being a tag team that much longer. That's just me kind of doing an extra prediction. At 3, I have Aussie Open because I don't know what their commitment / availability to Ring of Honor is. Now, obviously, they're at the first set of tapings, and they're at this set of tapings, but will they be at the next set of tapings? Who knows? At 2, I have Top Flight, who obviously were at Final Battle. They won at Final Battle. They've had great showings in Ring of Honor and would fit it. But at number 1, I have the Lucha Bros, who are the first tag team announced for this matchup, are a set of brothers that kind of anticipate the reach for this guy because it's a tribute match to Jay Briscoe and to an extent Mark Briscoe. And like I said, Lucha Bros, the biggest name in the matchup. I don't see them being involved in this matchup and losing. But I could be proved wrong. And I don't think I'd be upset if any of these teams won. Now, I'm sorry to the Kingdom because I did put you at 5, but I feel a lot of people would be triggered if they won. But if that happens, it happens. So I predict the Lucha Bros to win this tag team title Reach for the Sky ladder match. Next, 2 matches left. For the television championship, we have Samoa Joe versus Mark Briscoe. I'm picking Mark Briscoe to finally get the television championship. He's challenged for it many times over the years. He hasn't been able to do it. And with so much pressure on him, I feel like it is the time and need for it. Also, Samoa Joe, he did lose the TNT Championship in AEW, and we've seen him twice in Ring of Honor since then. I was going to say, well, he's lost some momentum, but then I'd be a hypocrite and an idiot because, like I said, he's won 2 matches. Like I said, I feel Mark Briscoe has so much going for him and is on his side and is on such a roll, and it would be a huge moment for him, especially with everything that's going on. I feel that he should win the television championship. Probably should have won it a long time ago, but better now than never. And last but not least, for the Ring of Honor World Championship, Claudio Castagnoli versus Eddie Kingston. Again, I don't think I'd be upset with either man winning. I already marked who I got winning. I picked Claudio Castagnoli. I feel that the Blackpool Combat Club are on such a roll, and we've seen this new turn, new style from them. And if you're taking championships away from them, it kind of ruins that momentum a lot. And like I said, if somebody has a championship one week and then they don't, kind of makes you look at it a little bit differently. And like I said, I think that Kingston has a good chance because he's so committed to Ring of Honor. Like, he left AEW to go to Ring of Honor, and like I said, if he wins, I'm not going to be upset. I would love to see it. But I just think logically taking a championship away from the Blackpool Combat Club doesn't make the most sense. But like I said, it built Kingston up. Kingston's got a lot of again, like I said, he's got a lot of momentum going for him. But I feel that the Blackpool Combat Club have a lot more. So like I said, Supercard of Honor, I'm very excited for it. I'm looking forward to everything that I'm going to watch WrestleMania weekend. I'm not going to be able to watch everything, obviously. But that being said, let me tell you the schedule. Saturday, early Saturday morning, we'll have my WrestleMania predictions out. Then you're not going to see me until Tuesday because I'm going to enjoy Saturday and Sunday of WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. And then I was thinking, should I do this video Monday or Tuesday? But I'm going to put it off till Tuesday. So my video Tuesday that I plan on happening is Shooting the Breeze, episode 3, where I break down I'm not going to say all, but all the stuff I see WrestleMania weekend and all the highlights and lowlights of the WrestleMania event. And the main reason I'm putting it off till Tuesday is I'm hoping something good / crazy happens the night after on Monday Night Raw. We haven't had a big night after Mania Raw in quite a while. Hopefully that changes. Like I said, looking forward to Supercard of Honor tonight. I just gave you my predictions. Even if you want to see what my handwriting looks like, these are my Revolution predictions. If you want to see, I got all of them right except for 2. So there are my Supercard of Honor predictions. Also, I just realized this when I do my videos. Obviously, my camera is flipped, so that might have been reversed. But I think for y'all, it isn't. So I'm gonna hope that it isn't. I'm gonna hope that this isn't the last time you watch one of my videos, and you subscribe, you like the video, and I see you in the next one I make.